Last year, Warren Buffett sat down in a room with 12 millionaires, and he said something so quiet, so offensive, and so completely true that not a single person in the room spoke for 17 seconds. He did not say rich people are smarter. He did not say they work harder. He said the single most dangerous mistake you will ever make in your life is the mistake 90% of very hardworking people make. And it is the exact reason they will die broke. And almost nobody will ever tell you this. You know who I am talking about. You have seen them. Maybe you are them. They wake up at 6 a.m. They never call in sick. They work 55, 60, 65-hour weeks. They pay their bills on time. They do absolutely everything they were told they are supposed to do. They are good, honest, hardworking people, and they are broke, and they will always be broke. And nobody will ever explain to them why. Everyone will tell them they just need to work a little harder. Everyone will tell them they just need to grind a little longer. And no one will ever tell them the truth, that hard work is not the solution. Hard work is the trap, and it is designed specifically to trap the very people who are best at it. When Warren Buffett was 26 years old, he already had more money than he would ever need to retire. And every single day on his way to his tiny office, he would walk past a construction site. And there was a man there, bigger than him, stronger than him, working twice as hard as him, every single day, rain or snow. And Buffett stopped that day, and he said that was the moment that changed his entire life. He realized that man was better at working than he would ever be, and he would die poorer than him, and there was nothing unfair about it, and there was nothing just about it, it was just true. The most valuable skill in the world is not working hard. The most valuable skill in the world is choosing what to work on. And almost every single hardworking person on this planet is absolutely terrible at this. They have been trained their entire life to value effort over outcome. They have been trained to take pride in carrying a heavy bucket, and it never once occurs to them to dig a pipeline. You have done this. You know exactly what this feels like. You stayed up until 2 a.m. fixing a problem that did not matter. You worked all weekend on a task that would have moved the needle 0%. You took pride in how hard you worked, and you never stopped for 10 seconds to ask if you should have been doing it at all. That is the trap. Hard work does not punish lazy people. Hard work punishes people who are good at hard work. Buffett says this is the only advantage he has ever had over anybody else. He is not smarter than most people. He cannot run faster. He cannot work longer. But he will sit in a chair for 3 days and do absolutely nothing until he finds one thing that is worth working on. And then he will work very hard on that one thing. And that is all he does. And 99% of people will never do that. They would rather do anything, even back-breaking miserable work, than sit still and think for 3 hours. That is the dirtiest secret of all. Most people do not avoid work. They avoid thinking, because thinking is terrifying, because thinking means you might have to admit that you have been wasting 3 years of your life on something that does not matter. It is much easier, much more comfortable, much more honorable to just work harder, to put in another hour, to pull another overtime shift, to tell yourself you are doing the right thing. And the worst part, everyone will praise you for it. Your boss will praise you, your parents will praise you, your friends will praise you, everyone will tell you what a good hard worker you are, and they will all be standing there clapping while you walk yourself straight into poverty. We have built an entire world that rewards you for being busy and punishes you for being effective. We treat activity as achievement, and if you ever stop moving, if you ever pause, if you ever ask, is this actually worth doing? Everyone will look at you like you are lazy. This is not an argument against hard work. Buffett works very hard. This is the part almost everyone deliberately misunderstands. He is not saying don't work hard. He is saying hard work is a multiplier. It is not the base. If you multiply 0 by 1,000, it is still 0. If you are working hard on the wrong thing, it does not matter how hard you work. You will still get 0. That is why 90% of hardworking people stay broke. They are very, very good at multiplying, and they keep multiplying 0. You do not get rewarded for effort. You get rewarded for being right, and nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that 10 hours of work on the wrong thing is worth less than 1 hour on the right thing. Nobody wants to hear that diligence does not count. that sacrifice does not count, that how much you suffered does not count. The only thing that counts is whether you chose the right thing to work on. And the cruelest irony of all is that the harder working you are, the less likely you are to ever notice this, because you never have time to notice. You are too busy working. You are too busy being diligent. You never have one single hour where you stop and step back and ask the only question that actually matters. Buffett asks himself this question every single Sunday. He sits alone in his office, no phone, no emails, no people, and he asks himself, if I did not have to do anything today, what is the one thing I would actually do? And then he does that thing, and he ignores everything else. And he says almost nobody does this. Almost everyone will spend their entire life doing the things they feel they are supposed to do, and they will never once do the thing that actually matters. You will meet people who are 55 years old and they will say, I worked hard my whole life and I have nothing to show for it. And they will be angry and they will be bitter and they will be right. They did work hard. They did everything they were told and they were cheated. But they were not cheated by rich people. They were not cheated by the system. They were cheated by the rule that everyone told them was true. The rule that says hard work is good. It is not good. It is a tool. It is a very powerful tool. And it is the most dangerous tool in the world if you hold it upside down. Buffett says there is only one sin in finance, and it is not greed, it is not laziness, it is confusing activity with progress. There are people who work 80 hours a week who are completely lazy because they have never done the one hard thing that actually matters. They have never stopped, they have never chosen, they have never decided. Most people will never make a big decision, they will just drift. They will take the next thing that comes, they will work hard at whatever is put in front of them. And they will call that responsibility, and they will wonder why it never pays off. You cannot outwork a bad choice. You cannot outwork picking the wrong job. You cannot outwork picking the wrong partner. You cannot outwork wasting 10 years on a business that was never going to work. No amount of hard work will ever fix a bad decision, and all the hard work in the world will never reward you for being wrong. And this is the part that no one will ever tell you. The world does not owe you anything for trying hard. It does not care how tired you are. It does not care how much you sacrificed. It does not care. It only cares if you were right. That sounds cruel. It is cruel, and it is also the only fair thing there is, because it means you do not need to be the strongest. You do not need to be the smartest. You do not need to work the longest hours. You only need to be right one time, and that one time will take care of everything else. Warren Buffett made 99.7% of his entire net worth after his 50th birthday. He did not win by working harder than everyone else for 50 years. He won by making 7 very good decisions, and then he waited, and that is all he did. Most people will make 1,000 bad small decisions and work very hard to make up for them, and they will never understand why they are still running in place. You do not get points for attendance. You do not get points for effort. You get 1 point for the one time you got it right. And here is the saddest part. Almost all of the people listening to this right now are capable of that one good decision. Almost every single hardworking broke person on this planet has the ability to do it. They already have all the skills. They already have all the discipline. They already have all the work ethic. They are just wasting it. They are pouring all of that incredible power into a bucket with a hole in the bottom, and everyone is telling them they just need to pour faster. Buffett says this is the only difference between you and the people who are rich. They did not have more discipline than you. They did not work harder than you. They just stopped pouring for 10 minutes. They put the bucket down. They walked 10 feet to the side, and they dug a well. And that took them one afternoon, and it changed everything. Nobody will ever congratulate you for putting the bucket down. Everyone will call you lazy. Everyone will say you are quitting. Everyone will say you are throwing away all your hard work. And they will still be pouring when you come back with water. This is not a trick. This is not a hack. This is the only thing that ever actually works. You can work as hard as you want for the rest of your life, but if you do not stop for just a little while and look up, you will die exactly where you are standing. And the worst part is, Everyone will say you are a good hard worker. Warren Buffett is 94 years old. He has seen almost everything, and he says this is the single saddest thing he has ever observed in his entire life. The greatest waste on earth is not laziness, it is talent, it is discipline, it is incredible work ethic applied to the wrong thing. There are millions and millions of incredibly hardworking people who will never get anything they deserve because they never stopped long enough to realize they were running the wrong race. You do not need to run faster, you just need to stop, turn around, and pick a different race. That is all. And if you are sitting there right now and you know deep down that you are running the wrong race, know that you are not trapped. You can put the bucket down at any time. You do not need permission. You do not need anyone to approve it. You can do it tonight. Most people will not. But you can. And if you do, 10 years from now, you will look back and wonder why you ever carried it at all. The next time you feel proud of how hard you are working, stop for 1 minute and ask yourself one question. If I was only allowed to do 3 things this week, which 3 would I actually do? And then throw everything else away. That is the only advice you will ever need.